What is up, Gila Nation, and welcome your butts back to a brand new Division 2 build video. But if you would be so kind to please show some love to that like button, also smash that sub button if you happen to be new to the channel, and don't forget to reach up there, trigger that bell, and turn on post notifications, so that way you never miss a live stream or a video that is uploaded. Well, I put up screenshots because people were asking as far as what my raid build looks like. And after enough of requests, and believe me, there were plenty, I appreciate all the love and support, and I'm here to answer those questions and actually make a video because you out there, the fans, requested it. Now, I have the Savage Wolverine. I typically use the Pyromaniac, but as you'll see in the stats, I can't wait to do another raid. I've completed the last 4 or 5, and I think I have like 20 completions total. But the Savage Wolverine on this build is 26.1, of course, with perfectly close and personal. For those rushing NPCs, the extra 50% weapon damage can come in handy, and of course, Allegro and Stop, Drop, and Roll. Merciless as my secondary, which allows me to proc Spark without actually having to take up space in my skill slot. Because if you've ever played the raid, regardless whether you stay up the whole time and never go down, sometimes if you're on Overwatch or everybody else's Reviver Hive is down, then yours can come in clutch. So it's good just to have it in your hip pocket, whether you may need it or your teammates. And of course, I'm running the Survivalist because you can shoot arrows at Razorback, and also you don't have to stop shooting in order to drop a chem, things of that nature. It'll just follow around you and give you that little squirt of heal. That's why I call it the Squirtle Pokey Heal. But the Pyromaniac on this particular build, 24.9k, perfectly ignited, and Allegro with overlapped. But if you already have the Eagle, I have an Eagle at 29.1, but it all depends on your personal preference and what you prefer to use on the raid. Me, Savage Wolverine, because 26.1 at 869 RPM versus the Pyromaniac at 935, so that's a 35 RPM plus another 31, so 66 RPM more on the P4, but as far as damage wise, I'm getting roughly 1200 per bullet more, and this thing absolutely shreds and shoots like a laser. So I pretty much found my go-to AR of choice either on PvP or PvE. Now on my sidearm, I'm going with protected reload because I already have stop, drop, and roll on my primary. And one of the talent that some people sleep on, but if you're a veteran of the raid, then some will kind of look at this armor that I have at 377.3 and be like, oh, that's way too low. Believe me, there's a lot of people that will run less armor than that and do it with ease. But to help counter having just a minimal 377 armor, patience will come in handy, especially with all the cover that there is with Buddy and Lucy. Also with Razorback, and if you're doing the computers at the beginning, I mean, just staying in cover with patience after 5 seconds, then every second thereafter, you're generating and repairing 5% of your armor, which will help out your survivability tremendously, along with, of course, the Squirtle Pokey Heal, and I'm using that Reviver Hive. So let's start out with a chest piece. I have 2 pieces of Hilligard. The first piece, and for having 2 pieces, I should say, gives me 5% total armor, 20% hazard protection, and I don't really care and don't need the 50% pulse skill power for the third piece. The attributes, if you have better stats on pieces, then your numbers will reflect that. I think I found the highest as far as armor percentage wise, 22%, but that's on another piece, and I never did do the clan hopping thing, so this is just what I have actually come by. And of course, the 14.5% weapon damage is the highest to date weapon damage roll that I found on any entire piece. What can I say? RNG just hates me. I'm a poet and didn't know it. But anyways, 25,816 health. I wish that was a numerical value, so that would push me over 400k. But beggars can't be choosers. I'm going with Bloodsucker. To plating an enemy's armor adds a stack of 25% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Max stack is 6, 11 or more defensive Legos. Now, with all the NPCs running around the beginning, stage 2 of it, and then going in after Buddy and Lucy to where you're going to the elevators, there's NPCs there, all the way around to the whole Razorback thing. So, for me personally, I like Bloodsucker over Unbreakable. Unbreakable, I would say, is better only on one stage, and that would be Buddy and Lucy. But in every other stage, I prefer the Bloodsucker because I can have up to 5 stacks, and each stack is 25% bonus armor. And then, of course, with my protected reload, I'm getting a proc armor every time I reload. But moving on, and enough of my rambling, apologies. We have 2 defensive and an offensive mod, 5128 armor, 3% total armor, 4% explosive resistance, 6% by way of offensive mod going to my assault rifle, and in the second mod, 4869 armor, 3.5% total armor, and then 3% explosive resistance. Also, I did forget to mention the gameplay footage of this build in action night before last is where the footage was taken, is at the end of the build video, and I'll try to speed this along so that way you can get right into it. On the second piece of this build, which is the Hilligard backpack, 13.5% total armor, 7476 armor, 11% weapon damage, hard hitting because I'm using True Patriot mask. So I had to have hard hitting somewhere, and this was my best option because I'm comfortable and run the raid all the time with 350 to 400k armor and no problems. And of course, Spark requiring 9 or more offensive Legos, in which the Merciless will proc, damaging enemies with skills or explosives, grant 15% weapon damage for 15 seconds. And with already 99% weapon damage, I'll show you the character sheet in a moment, plus another 15, that's 114% weapon damage. It's really, really dope. That pushes me, and that was Wolverine closer to 30k. Really, it's around 29, so it's definitely super, super strong. Then we have an offensive and defensive mod slot, 6.5% damage going to my assault rifle, and the defensive mod, 3911 armor, 3.5% total armor, and then 4% explosive resistance. That third pair of Hilligard, which is the knee pads, and I've already went over how crucial and clutch patience is, just that prolonging your survivability over the having the third piece of True Patriot. But let's say you don't care to use patience, then you can put on a third piece of True Patriot and do the buff. But I think here, and most will agree, that patience is a lot better. And then it has 13.5% total armor on it, and 2 defensive mod slots, 3945 armor, 3% explosive resistance, 4% total armor, 5644 armor, 3% total armor, and then 3% explosive resistance on the second one. Now on to the gloves. It's the only Fenris AB group, or group AB piece that I have on it. For one piece, you get 10% assault rifle damage, attributes, 12% assault rifle damage, and then 1.5% critical hit chance. That would be better if that was just health, but, you know, this is the best pair I have because of the baked-in armor that is on this pair of gloves, and of course with devastating. On to the first piece of True Patriot. For getting those two, I have 10% total armor is the bonus it gives you. And then as the attributes, 53% damage to elites, 40% has protection, so it brings my has protection up to 60%. And that is why I have stop, drop, and roll in the holstered slot of the Savage Wolverine. So it works out really well and kind of covers me for that other 40% that I'm lacking for a total of 100% has protection. So it's a 60-40 split, which works out really nice. And then it has an offensive mod slot where I'm getting another 6.5% weapon damage going to my assault rifle. As far as the second and last piece of this particular build is a True Patriot holster, 26,728 health and 787 skill power, in which I'm not even using. Now I have other ones that you can see. My armor will drop 3k, but my health will go up a little bit. So I typically would just, pop in this one, but, what works, don't fix it. And since, that measly, 14k health is very minuscule, that's roughly a sneeze or a fart from an NPC, so it doesn't really make much difference. But if you have higher health rolls on a piece, or one like this one that has double blue, but this has low base armor that's baked in at 28.1 versus 30. So, there's not still the same scenario comes into play. So if I had like 40,000 health on a roll plus a 10.5% health, let's just on this one, then it may be more beneficial. But as long as it's, less than 20,000, and it's not really going to mean anything unless you just want to be, pitch perfect and Mr. Perfect and, just a whole, stat-wise. But as I always say, better pieces with better stats on them is going to reflect your numbers. Now let's go to that character sheet real quick before we turn it over to the gameplay. 26,140 is our weapon damage. All weapon damage bonus is 38, 61% assault rifle damage for a total of 99% weapon damage to my assault rifle. And then we have 91% damage to elites, and then 29% health damage because that is baked in on an AR. There is the talents are as followed: 79, 5, 99 max health. There's my health regen, 15% protection from elites, and 18.79% explosive resistance for all those nagging explosive drones that the Black Tusk sends your way, and 50% pulse resistance, and then 60% hazard protection. Well, I hope this answered your questions out there, all those that requested for me to put up my raid build. Thank you again for all the love and support. I am humbled by it. I could not, you guys out there and girls, make this a reality for me. I'm humbled, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. And stay tuned, there will be a giveaway. I'm going to be giving away a couple key codes to get the Warlords of New York free. So be sure to throw a thumbs up on the video if you want to get in on it. Leave a comment as far as the platform of choice that you'd prefer. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think. And now to the gameplay.
It's down.
I'm coming for you, B.
Popping them around. Down. Good.
3 down.
Two's up.